And ultimately, we arrived at House Bill 7, which I did have the pleasure of authoring in the tax session, in the November special session. And I'll just start off with this. I think that truly, and not because I was the author of it, like completely remove my bias on that, but it's probably one of the greatest pieces of fiscal reform that we've ever seen come through the legislature. And I think, if you realize over the last 50 years how many times we've amended it and gone in and changed it and added stuff to it, you'll see that, it is a little bit of a daunting task to try to reverse some of the bad things that have happened and some of the things that really just don't help Louisiana progress. So one major thing that we did, we tried to make some better financial decisions with the money that we have. So the state of Louisiana has a bunch of these little funds that are kind of locked up in the Constitution. Some of them are absolutely purposeful. We need a rainy day fund. Obviously it helps with our credit ratings, but we do need some money in case of an emergency. We've been told multiple times that as long as you have about 25% of your state general fund in a savings account, you're in a healthy situation fiscally. I'm happy to say that we do have that in Louisiana. I know sometimes it's surprising when you hear good news about things that we have, and we do, but we do have that in Louisiana. But there was a particular fund, and this is kind of where the teacher pay raise comes in, because I've had a lot of teachers reach out to me and say, why did y'all just throw a teacher pay raise in this? It just kind of seems arbitrary. So let me explain where that comes from. There was a fund. Mostly it came from some tobacco settlement money, a lot of federal government money from mineral revenues that over time the state just had locked up in this fund to the tune of about $2 billion. And really that fund it's not recurring revenue, it was just money that was deposited into this fund, and we just basically had it safekeeping. When we kind of analyzed things overall, we said, man, that money's earning a little bit of interest, but is earning interest at a rate that doesn't constitute us not paying down debt with that money. And when we talk about debt, sometimes people say, well, I thought y'all had to balance the budget, why do we have debt? The debt mostly comes from our pension funds. So we have state retirement. If you're a state employee, you have a pension, you have retirement. Teachers have retirement. Law enforcement has retirement. So over time, that debt does add up because we are trying to keep up with paying our retirees and as they retire and trying to keep up with that number. So the teachers retirement fund, and I could really bore you to tears with kind of how this came to be, but basically right now it's operating about $9 billion in debt. So we had this $2 billion there, and we were paying a larger debt service on the $9 billion that we were earning an interest in the $2 billion. So if you're sitting down financially planning for your family, you would probably say, it's probably a good decision to take that money that I'm really not getting that much interest on and pay down this debt. So when we did that, that frees up money on the local level and on the state level. And so we asked them, we said, we want you to give a teacher pay raise. Now, a couple years ago, we did something very similar, not with $2 billion, but we paid down some of the UAL payment, and we asked politely for the local school boards to give a pay raise to teachers. Some did, some didn't. So that was the reason that we put the mandate for the teacher pay raise in there, because we were freeing up money. We didn't, and I mean, look, Lafayette School Board, I have a lot of love for it. I think they're mostly good. Not every single school board is great like that one. But, so we said, hey guys, we're gonna mandate that you guys do this. So we didn't want them to kind of blow the extra money they had, so that's why we did it. Now the mandate, you probably heard a lot of people say, I don't see anywhere in this bill that there's a mandate. There is. We changed language in the Constitution, and then when we do that, in order to facilitate the pay raise, there had to be a statutory companion. Representative Tony Bacala authored that bill, and it says you shall facilitate the pay raise in that bill. So the mandate is in there, just to clear up any misconception. It is actually in the statute. When this amendment passes, it'll trigger that statute to mandate the pay raise.